For a long time, hating on the Star Wars prequels was the popular thing to do in the fandom, and while they're still full of cringy moments and dialogue, these films have aged incredibly well over the years. Maybe it's due to the sequel trilogy being a mess at times, but a new generation of fans has developed a lot of love for episodes 1 through 3. It's earned too, because there's a lot of great moments in the prequel trilogy to celebrate. Let's take a look at our picks for the 15 best moments in the Star Wars Prequel Trilogy. But before we do that, remember that it's the will of the Force that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want more videos on Star Wars, Indiana Jones, entertainment, gaming, and more, while you're at it, head to our website at strangelyAwesomeGames.com for even more on everything from nerd culture. Kicking us off at number 15, we have Star Wars' version of an epic car chase. After thwarting an assassination attempt on Senator Amidala in the first act of Episode 2, Obi-Wan and Anakin pursue the assassin through the skies of Coruscant. It did a great job showing the verticality of the city while also offering some humor and insight into Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship as Master and Padawan. Finally, the scene in the bar, including Obi-Wan convincing a drug dealer that he doesn't want to sell him death sticks, is pretty outstanding. Darth Sidious staged a kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine, also him, in a daring separatist attack on Coruscant, in what was an elaborate strategy to bring now Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker closer to the Chancellor in Episode 3. Episode 3 opens with the enormous battle taking place in the skies above Coruscant and features Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker boarding the Invisible Hand in an attempt to rescue the Chancellor. The sequence includes the first of many lightsaber duels in Episode 3, as well as the death of Count Dooku in a manipulative move by Palpatine. It's the duel that should have signaled the coming of peace and the end of the war. The Republic had finally tracked down General Grievous to the Utapau system, where he was hiding after the Battle of Coruscant. Obi-Wan Kenobi's dispatched to face Grievous, and the resulting battle is one of the best moments of the trilogy. From Grievous wielding 4 lightsabers to the changing venues of the fight, this face-off feels like it has a lot of stakes to it. You also can't overlook the "hello there" greeting, and the line of "how uncivilized" after using a blaster to kill Grievous. R2-D2 has been one of the bravest characters throughout the entire saga, and his introduction in the prequel trilogy is no exception. R2 is serving as a repair droid on board Queen Amidala's ship in Episode 1 when the ship is damaged during the attempt to escape the Trade Federation blockade. As one droid after another gets blown off the hull of the ship, R2 stays at his post and restores the shields, allowing the ship to escape. In an impromptu ceremony on the ship where the Queen recognizes the droid's bravery, we learn that the droid is, in fact, R2-D2. In the third act of Episode 2, it's looking pretty dire for our heroes. Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme have all been captured by Count Dooku and the Separatists and face execution in an arena. Luckily, messages reach Coruscant, and the Jedi are leading a daring rescue attempt that will erupt into the Battle of Geonosis. While Yoda puts the enormous clone army from Kamino into action, Mace Windu leads the Jedi in the arena. He has a pretty badass moment with Dooku, then kills Jango Fett while holding off the droid army until Yoda arrives with the clone army. It's a pretty amazing moment for Windu that still holds up today. This is the scene where Palpatine really sets the hook on Anakin and starts to reel him in. Anakin rushes to meet Palpatine at the opera where they sit together in a box. The Chancellor, having manipulated Anakin masterfully by making him fear for Padme's life, now tells the young Jedi that he knows how to learn to save people he loves from dying. This is the first time that Palpatine mentions the Sith openly to Anakin, and you can see Anakin's mind weighing the benefits and costs of going down that path. The Sith Lord also plants doubt about the Jedi into Anakin's mind by making him reveal that he has to spy on Palpatine. Okay, so the no scene is pretty laughable and weak, but this is still a pretty iconic scene. Yes, Anakin became Darth Vader in Palpatine's office after Mace Windu's killed, but we now see him in the iconic suit for the very first time in the timeline right here. Vader is struggling in 2 ways here. First, the physical struggle of adjusting to the suit as he takes his first steps past the point of no return, but second, he's struggling emotionally, as there's still a lot of Anakin in him. He's worried for Padme, and when Palpatine says he killed her, he truly realizes how much he's been maneuvered and manipulated. It's one of the first scenes we see in Episode 1. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon arrive at the Trade Federation ship to broker an agreement that will end the blockade of Naboo. It's also our very first look at Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. We also get Obi-Wan's first line in the trilogy, quote, "I have a bad feeling about this." What follows is a great action sequence that finds the Jedi under attack by the droid army as they fight their way to the bridge. The sequence shows off the combat style of the Jedi at the height of the Order, as well as shows us the types of enemies we'll encounter in the film, all in one shot. It's a great way to start the trilogy and had fans excited from the beginning. The Podrace is one of the most visually impressive sequences of the prequel trilogy. This sequence in Act 2 of Episode 1 shows off the might of Lucasfilm and ILM from a visual standpoint and also accomplishes a lot of things from a story perspective. We witness Anakin racing for his freedom, as well as realizing that Qui-Gon knew Anakin was going to win the whole time. The Jedi and Padme earn a way off Tatooine, and we see how powerful Anakin is in the Force, even through just instinct and reaction. Aside from that, the action in these scenes is amazing, and seeing Sebulba get his comeuppance is pretty great too. This is one of my favorite parts of Episode 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi investigating the poison dart, taking him to Kamino, kind of being a detective here. There he learns that a clone army has been built over the past decade after Jedi Master Sifo-Dyas ordered its creation. As Obi-Wan learns more about the clone army, he also discovers Jango Fett and his son Boba living on Kamino, which leads to a confrontation between them as Jango attempts to flee Kamino in Slave 1. Obi-Wan isn't able to capture the bounty hunter, but does attach a tracking device to his ship as Fett takes off. Count Dooku is a pretty powerful Sith. He's able to dispatch with Anakin and Obi-Wan with relative ease, even severing Anakin's right arm off in the process. But as Dooku prepares to flee Geonosis, Yoda slowly walks into the cave using his cane, only to face off with Dooku and show off his skills as a Jedi. I was in the theater and there was definite cheering from fans when Yoda ignited his green lightsaber. It was the first time we'd seen Yoda's skills with a lightsaber, which we'd heard were legendary. They definitely didn't disappoint here. There aren't many moments that fans were looking forward to in the prequel trilogy more than this one. Anakin Skywalker, fearing for his wife's health and safety, rushes to the Senate building to stop Mace Windu from killing Chancellor Palpatine. After cutting Windu's right arm off, Anakin realizes Palpatine's deception. However, knowing he has no choice because he's in too deep, he pledges himself to serve Palpatine. We all knew Anakin wouldn't stay in the council chambers like Windu told him, but I was really hoping he would the whole time. We could see the deception around him, but knew he was destined to turn anyway. Seeing Anakin call Darth Vader for the first time gets this moment pretty high on the list on its own. When Palpatine dispatched Anakin to the Jedi Temple to eliminate the Jedi there, he also sent a command to the clone troopers around the galaxy to execute Order 66. What followed was a massacre of the Jedi Knights both in the temple and around the galaxy, with only a few escaping to safety. These events not only eliminated most of the Jedi in the galaxy, they paved the way for Emperor Palpatine and the Galactic Empire to take power virtually unopposed. They also set the stage for the climactic final battles in Episode 3, with Yoda taking on Emperor Palpatine and Obi-Wan facing Darth Vader in a desperate attempt to preserve democracy in the galaxy. Star Wars fans everywhere had been waiting for the inevitable clash between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, and the duel didn't disappoint when it finally arrived in Episode 3. Not only was it visually stunning, but it demonstrated the emotion and stakes in the fight without having to have too much dialogue. In the end, we saw Anakin injured and left for dead, seeing why he would call the legendary black suit home for the remainder of his life. Obi-Wan escapes with Padme and sees Luke and Leia born, then takes Luke to Tatooine. In the vast history of Star Wars lightsaber duels, this one has the high ground. Okay, except for this one. In my opinion, there's not a more consequential and important moment in Star Wars films than the Duel of the Fates in Episode 1. The outcome of the battle did numerous things that shifted the storytelling landscape. First, it established the Sith had returned and the Jedi were no longer in the dark about it. Second, it led to Obi-Wan Kenobi being Anakin Skywalker's teacher, which contributed to Anakin going down a darker path since Obi-Wan was not as equipped or as good of a fit to teach Anakin as Qui-Gon was. So what do you think? Which moments in the prequels are your favorites? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars, Indiana Jones, gaming, and entertainment content. While you're at it, head to our website, strangeawesomegames.com, and consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/strangelyawesome. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.